Hey, welcome back. It is Wednesday, which means it's officially time for Boob Tube. And of course, it's not Boob Tube without my beautiful co host, Casey Carter and Desirable Bottom. I am Kari Anthony.
Woo
Woo!
woo!
Woo woo! Welcome
Welcome.
back. Well, welcome if you're here for the first time, and welcome back if you're returning. Hello,
Yes.
Roni.
Right. Yes.
How are you?
Cheers.
Cheers. Yes, let's start this off with cheers.
Cheers.
If you're in the audience, you can get your cup, your drink, your beer can, whatever you may be sipping on, and it is now time
Hell
for
yeah.
cheers. Clank, clank, clank. Stay hydrated. How's your week been?
Woo. Okay, so wait, before I forget, with that question, I meant while we were talking previously, I wanted to double check something because we are Kari, Desiree, Kari. We're in the midst of a Mercury retrograde.
Mm.
So
What
all
does
the
that mean?
shenanigans. All the shenanigans.
Do you know what sound effect I just heard in my head right now?
What?
The Price is Right, where
Tell
it
us.
goes, "Ah." You know what I'm talking about when they get the number wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about it when we were doing our little pre-show chat, and I was thinking
Yeah.
about it because when Mercury first went into retrograde when I went to visit my sister, and she first introduced me to the concept of putting it on my calendar. So she and I were talking about it, and I'm like, oh, it's not on my calendar. Got to put it on my calendar. Got to do this. And when I tell you, I was with her from a Saturday to a Monday. And I think that Tuesday or Wednesday, she got let go from her job. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. And it just seemed like things have kind of, and not necessarily like horrible, but definitely things that have you going, I didn't see that coming. And I've got so many people around me who have had some crazy thing happen to them. And I keep thinking to myself, oh my God, what the Mercury? Really? That's what we're doing this time? That's what we're doing?
Dang,
So
Mercury.
yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. Before my sister introduced me to watching or being cognizant of the retrograde, I never really, I didn't pay any attention. Didn't get into that. Didn't whatever because I'm always paranoid that when you get involved in something like that, you start manifesting the things that they
That
say
energy.
are attributed to that. So I'm very, very sensitive of that. But when we were talking earlier, Carrie, I had that, ooh, Mercury, ooh. So,
So to give you a little backstory, when I came in, I was saying, have you ever had one of those days where you like can't pick up things, you can't turn on a light, you're tripping over yourself, you
Yep.
drop things, like no matter what you do, it just seems like you can't do some of the most basic things, or you're in a conversation and your normal answers, you're just stuck like I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like it's just so weird. It almost feels like an out of body experience. Like somebody else is taking over, and you're like watching the driver drive your body, but you can't like. You're honking, but nothing's coming out, and you're like turning on the turn signals, but it's not signaling. Like it's so weird. So that's why we were talking about. And she brings up Mercury retrograde because I was like, today has been one of those days. The other thing I want to say is that I also mentioned that a lot of people misunderstand that when you work from home or you work for yourself, it is real easy to think that we have nothing to do all day
or that we're
and that
not
we
doing anything all day.
or that we're
Right?
that
True.
part or that we don't have stressful days, like we don't have clients or any type of work that can be stressful or frustrating, and like sometimes, and on top of that, like it's almost like they intersect, and it's like your day is just, it feels like an explosion that keeps exploding.
Yes. Yes.
So
An
hello,
explosion.
Paul Carter, we haven't seen you in
Woo woo.
forever.
Welcome back.
yeah, it's like an explosion, and then like, or how I would imagine like a grenade, and it's like you got that ringing in your ears, and you're just like,
flashbang or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just
yes,
stunned.
yes.
You
So
are stunned. Uh-huh. The ringing in the ears, and your brain is like, what's
right.
going on? What's going on? You can't
So
orient yourself.
True.
Yeah.
so the other thing, so we're real humans, like we are people that experience things like you guys. But the other thing we also talked about is we have run out of shit to watch.
Ha! Facts.
And we need your help now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
We need suggestions of things that you are watching, whether it's a movie, whether it's a TV show, whether it's a documentary. It could even be something else on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I will say
TikTok,
that there are two
whatever
TikToks, yes, which actually I found a bunch of people that do reaction videos to TikTok. So I see a lot of what happens on TikTok via YouTube. But I am watching this girl. Her name is, hold on, let me look at my thing. I want to say, but she does these like mashups where she goes through and does reaction videos to like people's drama. So she was talking about this G.I. Jane girl who's like this chick on TikTok. She's got red hair and she's married to this black guy, and apparently he was having some sort of situation with a spicy creator, and the wife was like, you know, not mentioning the girl's name, but basically just saying that she caught her husband, you know, talking to this spicy creator. And she didn't mention the girl's name. And she just basically was just like how, you know, it hurts because, you know, she doesn't understand as a wife why he needed to seek the attention or services of said spicy creator. But then the spicy creator jumps online and shares all the tea.
Ooh,
And
girl.
mentions names.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
And I was like, that is spicy provider violation of ethics. We don't do that, okay?
No.
Right.
No, that's
You know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah, no.
Right.
You can seek out. So for me, this is how I feel about it, and this is just my opinion, allegedly.
Allegedly, this is your opinion.
Right. I feel like this. I feel like as a husband or a wife or anybody, if you wanted to seek out fantasy role play or, you know, talk to somebody online, I would feel more trusting of a spicy creator because the majority of spicy creators aren't seeking out relationships with their fans.
Right.
They're literally
just
it's like a therapy situation. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
If you wanna talk about your crazy kinks or beat your meat or whatever it is that you want to do, fine. That's what she's there for. I would rather you do it with a professional, because then I know that most people will keep that within the professional realm.
Contained,
unfortunately, not everyone does.
No.
But
they're also, the spicy creators aren't, the majority of them aren't call girls. So to your point, it's usually just this right here. It is not always live and in person.
Even if they were call girls, it's still a professional relationship.
Well, but the distinction I guess I'm trying to make is the live and in person versus we're doing this right here. This experience.
Well, versus over like PC or right? Is that what you mean?
I mean,
so you're talking about like real life
versus I'm meeting you at a location.
In real life.
Right.
Yeah. Sad location. Facts. I agree.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. Mm-hmm. When you take it to the IRL portion of in real life, that you are definitely overstepping a boundary. However, in my situation, I would much rather you seek out the services of a professional rather than some random chick who thinks that you're in love with her and is going to become a thorn in my side. Like, get what you need and keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So let me tag on that for 1 second, because I feel you on that. right? And I can respect that. My only challenge with that is 9.999999999%
Come back to us,
of the
Casey.
time, they're not going to be transparent and tell you that.
True.
See what I'm saying? So that's where that goes wrong. Because again, I can respect that you seek something like that if you and I have discussed it and you and I are of the understanding that there's something missing or whatever. And you and I say, okay, yes, let's try this. Now, Lord knows it does not always work out well.
Right.
But I respect the conversation because to me, it tells me you respect us and you respect me enough to tell me.
Okay. So, one of the stories that I came across was the guy wanted to experience something, but he was afraid to tell his wife because he didn't know if it was something that he really liked. He just wanted to experience it, which I was like, okay. But so he wanted to get his groceries ate.
Okay, I got you.
My opinion was this: I would much rather you seek out the services
of a professional.
Else,
I feel you.
That is I don't.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
There are just some things that are on my absolute no list, and that is one.
And that's fair. That is fair.
Right.
That is absolutely fair.
Right.
So now that being said, let's just pretend for a second.
Okay, let's pretend.
Let's pretend. Because I feel you on that. I can respect that decision. So if my partner were to say to me, hey, here's what I'm thinking, and because we're having this conversation to see if I could fulfill or would be willing to fulfill his fantasy, and I decide, not my thing.
It ain't for you.
And we continue having this conversation, and I come to the realization, Honey Dip really, really wants this and really, really needs this. So I would just have to be the partner extraordinaire and be like, hold up, boo, let me find somebody for you, and let me check that out with you. I'll just sit here, you be over there.
Do your thing. Yeah.
But what if...
Again, this is me. This is me. This is what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. I'm not putting that. I'm not saying that's the standard anybody else should live by. I'm just saying, if you're going to give me the respect of talking to me about it, and I'm going to give you the respect of not freaking the fuck out over that crazy shit, then come on, baby. Let's still continue to do this together. You go do that while I sit right here and watch that, because I might be interested in watching you do that. I'm just saying.
I can get with that. I personally I'm just going to give you a pass, and I just want to hear about it afterwards.
But and that's why I'm saying, though, that's the value of the conversation in advance. Everybody is good with whatever we decide in that moment. And again, like I said, it could go left afterwards. But in that moment, we've had that understanding. And that's
her name is Charlotte Dobre.
Okay.
This is the lady. And yeah, she's from Canada, and she has like a very strong Canadian accent. Yeah, so it's funny, but her reactions, and she does this face where she's like it's so fun. Like she's funny. Anyways.
Okay, but you carry
her out.
Okay, so if I could go back to the top of you even mentioning what you mentioned, that brought me to a suggestion that Des, I'm gonna rely on your fingers to do the typing. That maybe the viewers out there have some TikTok video idea, concept, YouTube, something or another that you would recommend to us. Because when I tell you, Kari and I both were like, yeah, I don't know, just not feeling what's out there. I can tell you, I'm not someone who gets lost in YouTube videos, but there was a moment where I first got introduced to the concept of AMSR. And
ASMR. Yeah.
And so I just did a search on YouTube. I was so deep in the rabbit hole. My ass was a bunny. Okay, like I couldn't get out. I had moved in And
Love it.
I loved it. I loved all the various things that I saw. And full transparency, I loved acknowledging the things that got a reaction out of me, the things that, because I would have never thought that's something that was something that would resonate with me to the extent that I've responded. I've realized that I was responding to certain things in a certain way. And so I absolutely loved that. So again, I'm like, hey, fans, folks, friends, what's out there that you watch, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, whether it's a person, whether it's a particular type of content that you would recommend? Because I would love to just peep it out. Because like I said, somebody just said ASMR to me one time, and I still to this day talk about it like it's insane. Like my admin at my job, she is very much an ASMR person, and there are little things she does around the office that uh are triggers for her ASMR. So when we were decorating the office, I bought area rugs that I knew she would respond to. Like it's almost like she's a cat. I bought area rugs I knew she would respond to. We have these real wood doors, and so when she comes to my office, she doesn't knock on my door, she scratches on my door, and she's like, I hope you don't think I'm weird. I'm like, no girl, that's you, and I love it. So just go on ahead, scratch on the door, I'm good with that. So it's like, I absolutely love it. It's I don't know, it's a thing. So please share ideas like that with us, things you think you think we should check out and take a look at. Because again, Kari and I don't know about Des. We're gonna find out in a minute if Des ran out of stuff to watch. But I know Kari and I are like, I don't know.
Well, House of
like
Dragons is
ASMR
off.
stuff too. Yeah.
House of Dragons season finale came. We're still waiting on Power, the last, few episodes of Power, which we know is going to be the end of that. So it's almost like we're just at this like finale. But I feel like we kind of always we always hit this spot from August to September where there's just this void of what do we watch. So what I'm watching on YouTube is that girl, the one I just told you, and Paranormal Files, which is my only link to paranormal now, because remember I've said in the past I stopped watching the paranormal because one, it just seems a lot of it very staged, and two, they use clickbait for titles, and that irritates the shit out of me. So that just doesn't do it for me. Hey, what's up, Two Chows One Dude? Jeff Dean Ridgway, Zany, where's Jason? But
hello, where is Jason?
Right? Somebody, Jason, Alex. I see Christopher Gagliardi's in here.
Put
But
out an APB on these folks.
Yeah. There have been a couple of things that I've watched that just I didn't watch them this week. It's kind of been over the last few weeks, and we had so much to talk about during other episodes that they got lost. But I want to mention this one because if you guys haven't heard, there's apparently a bunch of drama with J-Lo, Ben Affleck, and Jennifer Garner.
Oh, do tell.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so the show is called The Last Thing He Told Me with Jennifer Garner, which is a show about Jennifer Garner marrying this man, and all of a sudden he just turns up missing, and the guy's office is being raided by the FBI, and they're claiming that he was a part of some kind of like Ponzi scheme or some sort of scam or whatever, and she's on the search to try to find him because he's gone. Okay,
it's Netflix, right? Is that Netflix?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
So the J-Lo, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner drama is obviously Jennifer Garner is Ben Affleck's ex-wife. And they have 3 children together, okay? Ben Affleck and Jennifer get a divorce. He ends up marrying J-Lo. Oh, they're back together after 20 years being separated. But apparently it wasn't the magical escapade and marriage that they thought it was going to be. Ben Affleck
20 years ago.
Right. The Jennifer that he knew then and the Jennifer that he knows now, very different. she has turned into and I've seen a lot of people post about it, about her being just really like she's some kind of like special person. So anyways, the drama that's going on now is that there's rumors that Ben Affleck and J-Lo are getting a divorce, and that J-Lo has cut off Jennifer Garner's kids, or Ben's kids, after saying that they were family forever. And so Jennifer is like, you can't tell my kids that. After, I'm sure Jennifer was like probably not excited about them, having to go visit. But there was drama before that. The drama before that was that Jennifer Garner has a very strict parenting style with the kids. Oh. And J-Lo would let them, when they would come over, would just let them do whatever the hell they wanted. And Jennifer was like, no, the same rules that are at my house need to apply at your house. And so there was friction there, which I could see that because J-Lo was trying to win their affection and be like, I'm the stepmom with the most, So there was that. But now, apparently that she's cut off the kids, Jennifer Garner is like, you went through all this trouble to gain their approval and to get them in, and now because you're having problems with their dad, you just want to cut them off and not have anything to do with them. And she's like, nah, that's messed up. Like, that hurts the kids.
It does.
And I have to agree. Like, I have been in a situation where I was very close with the child of a person I was dating, and when we broke up, I asked if it was okay to continue a relationship with the child, and he agreed. It was later that the child decided that it was awkward and didn't want to have a relationship with me, and I was like, that's perfectly fine. Like, I was a little hurt, but at the same time perfectly understood why, because he had gotten back with her mother, and so now that they're back together, it just seemed really weird, which I didn't know they were back together. So I found out through the kid, but yeah, she was like, they're back together, and like, me still communicating with you just seems awkward. And I'm like, okay, cool. And ironically, a couple of months later, he hit me up and was like, oh, I just wanted to see how you're doing. And I was like, lose my number. Don't ever contact me again. Like, if I'd have known that I was just something to do when there was nothing to do in the in-between. But, anyway, so that's the situation with Jennifer Garner. The show is the last thing he told me. I have not finished watching it. Okay. At least not while I was awake, so I don't know how it ends. But the thing I want to note is that, so the man that she married, the husband, had a teenage daughter that was in high school, and obviously did not get along with the new wife. And now that the father is missing, they have had to, build a relationship, and they are both, looking for the father, but also in the midst of this, questioning who the mother is. So it's like this whole mystery of like, what has he lied about? What has he told the truth about? And I think what's going to happen, from what it looks like, it's almost like he's completely somebody different. Like, he's not anything that he claimed to be. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what. But anyways, I need to finish watching it so I can, update you all. But there you go. The last thing he told me, Jennifer Garner.
I got a question for.
Yeah.
I have a question. I got a question for Paul Carter. Paul put out this comment. People doing iceberg lists are pretty interesting. And my question is, what is that? People doing iceberg lists. Do tell.
Yeah.
More details.
What is an iceberg list? Yeah.
Right. More details, please.
Never heard of it. Desiree, have you heard of it?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, Paul. That's 3 out of 3. We have no idea.
Paul brought out this other one. Have you watched From? Season 3 will be out soon, or Reacher. I tried to watch Reacher, and I'm curious about From. Where is either of you ladies familiar with From?
Nope, neither.
So Paul, you were on the spot today, Paul. You took the risk of stepping up with some comments, and Paul, this proves we're reading these bitches, okay? We are reading them.
Oh yeah.
So Paul, I expect to see some replies, okay? All right, so go ahead. Go back with Desi now. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Desi. What are you watching?
I wanted to say congratulations to Team USA for winning the most medals in the Paris 2024 Olympics. So congratulations. With let me see, what did they get? 126 in total.
Oh, wow.
So 40 gold, 44 silver, and 42 bronze.
How they managed to break that even across? That's crazy.
Beautiful.
Wow.
So yeah, Canada, I think we placed like 10th or something. No, 12th. So we didn't do as hot as you guys, but I mean, at least, you know, it wasn't even top 10. So I'm kind of disappointed in my country, but you guys did phenomenal. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, so Kari, give me a second, Kari. Paul responded. Thank you, Paul, for responding. So he said it's like a list of things from best to worst. They did a really good one on the most disturbing movies. So Paul, I'm curious, what kinds of movies were on that list? From is on MGM Plus.
Yeah.
About a family gets stuck in a town with no way out, and at night they have ooh. Wait a minute. Is this by any chance is this show okay, wait. Just give me a second to get my thoughts together.
It sounds familiar, like something we've talked about.
Yes. Do they get to this town and literally can't get out? Almost like they you know, no matter how they try to get out, they find themselves back in the town. And then the one of the characters, I want to say and I can't think of his name, but it's the black guy from Lost and with the dreads. I can't think of his name. Is he one of the characters in it? Because I think I did see that, and I when I watched it, it was on Amazon. But Amazon, you know, will oftentimes give you the previews of other network stuff, which I wouldn't have known it was on MGM. But that's my question about that. And then wait, it went from audition to vomit dolls. I don't even understand that statement. But anyway, I'll give you time to write more, Paul.
Harold Perrineau? Yeah, it is Harold.
It. Yes. Okay, so we did talk about this because I remember watching it. So thank you, Paul. That was a good one because that one was weird as all get out. No lie, that was weird. Yeah. So anyway, okay, all right. I'm sorry. I just needed to. Thank you, Paul. You are on the money. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing up the Olympics, Desiree. You're on it. So I don't know where Russell Crowe went, but all of a sudden he's returned with like a bunch of films that I'm like, wow, he's been a busy guy. I also understand sometimes movies take a lot longer to release, so maybe he filmed these during very different times. But I do want to mention, if you are a person like me who loves a movie with a surprise ending, because I love thinking I've figured out who the killer is. I feel like I've learned the plot, and I'm like, okay. And then at the end, you're like, what? Didn't see that coming. Or maybe you kind of like an imprint was like, maybe, but the movie is really good at like giving you like all these different plausible options. And the movie is called Sleeping Dog.
Sleeping what?
Sleeping Dog.
D-O-G.
D-O-G.
Okay.
So Russell Crowe was a cop. His partner was the guy that played the Irish guy from Sons of Anarchy. Remember him? The one that had the scar on his face?
Okay.
Kind of grungy guy? Okay. I don't remember his name in the show. But so he plays his partner. And the movie starts where he's like coming back from like some kind of brain surgery. But he has memory loss. And so literally he has like index cards and Post-its and like all things, like even simple things like this is the freezer, ice goes in here. This is like
Mm.
literally like everything in his life he has forgotten. He has no memory or recollection of his life. So the movie progresses. He gets a visit from he gets like a call, or he gets a visit, or he gets some sort of like information. Oh, I know what it is. It's this guy that's locked up. He says he's innocent, but he's getting ready to be executed. And he has someone from the program that gets innocent people out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
It's not called the Innocence Program in the movie, but it's something like that.
Like
so
that,
the lady
right.
visits Russell Crowe, and like something in that conversation sparks like a glimpse. And then the glimpse turns into him like asking questions, and now he's like trying to find out like, why is this? So he goes to visit the kid, and the kid's like, I didn't do this, blah blah blah. They're gonna, execute me in XYZ amount of days, and blah blah blah. So Russell, who is totally at a loss, is now searching for answers. So he's investigating how this professor got killed and how this person got killed and blah, blah, blah. And all I'm going to say is it is really good. It is really good because they bring, this person, and you're like, it could be this person. And then they bring this person and you're like, oh, it could be this person. And so it's just really interesting because as he's investigating, he's getting more memory, like memories are returning to him. So,
okay.
Right. And at the end, you're like,
okay,
that's how he lost his memory?
Okay.
Because they don't explain how he lost his memory. So it's like when you finally get to the end, you're like, oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's called Sleeping Dog. It was really good.
Okay.
It was really good.
Sleeping Dog.
So
I
if you're
wrote
looking,
that down. Okay, so just an update here. This is another one of Paul's comments. Nefarious is a decent movie that makes you think if the inmate is possessed or not. So, okay, thank you for that. And Paul also, I posted this up a second ago too. Most Disturbing Iceberg is done by creator Wendigoon on YouTube, and I am definitely going to check that out.
going right now.
And Jeff Dean Ridgeway, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. And
Don't you just love when they're doing all this, helping us?
Helping us, thank you. So while Kari is doing that initial research, the one thing that I did want to talk about that I watched, and I was sharing with the ladies that when I went to visit my sister, the time I went to the Yankee game with her most recently, oh, and I just realized I still never showed you all my bobblehead. After I talk about this, I'm gonna run and go find my bobblehead.
Yeah.
But
I want to see.
She had me watch something called Trader, and I think Des, you said you had mentioned it to us before, and it's on Peacock, and so for those who weren't here when Desi talked about this before, allow me to talk about it again. Trader is a reality show, and I actually kind of love the premise of the show. So you have all these people who, and the one I watched, they were in an Irish mansion, Scottish mansion, some mansion somewhere on the, like that. And they gather all these people together. So now the people are from various reality TV formats. You've got people like housewives, from the folks from the Housewives and Below Deck, like a lot of the Bravo people were on, but reality TV show people like that. And then you had what they called the gamers, who were on things like Big Brother and
Survivor.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll be honest, it took me a minute to understand what they meant by gamer, because for me, a gamer is somebody like Desi who's out there playing video games. So it took a second for that to kind of register why they were gamers and whatever. But it was very interesting because the reality show people, especially the Bravo people, I knew who all of them were. I had no clue who the gamers were per se. I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't like, which is again why when they called them gamers, I'm like, gamers like video gamers, like okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I had to kind of sort of get right in my mind. But here's the premise of the show. You've got, let's just say there's 20 people. I can't remember exactly, but let's just say there's 20 people. A few of these people are tapped to be traders and basically eliminate the other players one by one to where there's only one, maybe two players left, and they collect the prize money. And right. And so during the course of the show, they're also doing things to earn the money. And that part of it is it reminded me very much of Fear Factor, because they had them doing all kinds of weird and wild.
Oh man.
Yeah, weird, wild things. Not so much the part of Fear Factor where they had to eat stuff, but the part of Fear Factor where they had to do crazy things. That was the part that really kind of stuck out to me. And again, when you talk about strategy, so the reality TV show people versus the gamers, the reality TV show people did not necessarily understand the concept of playing the game the way the gamers did. However, the season I watched had Phaedra from Housewives of Atlanta. She was one of the traders. I thought she was the perfect trader because Phaedra, when she was on Housewives, you couldn't trust nothing that came out of that girl's mouth. And honey, when I tell you, she played them right to the very end. Like, people were literally calling her out saying, she's the traitor, she's the traitor, she's the traitor. And they were all like, no, not Phaedra. I think it's this one. And again, at one point, there were 3 traders. Then there were 2 traders. Then there was just Phaedra. Phaedra had to recruit somebody. Ooh. And she did. And it took literally getting to like the very, 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 very end before they were finally able after all of these rounds of voting who's the traitor. And every time, Phaedra missed it, like they voted someone else, even though they all
pick off one of their own.
Right. Like they all suspected it was Phaedra. And Phaedra would be like, no, like, why would it be me? Why are you suspecting it's me? And like, she gave them all these reasons why it could not be her. And then they would go vote somebody else off. And when you get voted out as the traitor, they have this circle you stand in where you reveal whether you were a traitor or a friendly or a faithful. It's called a faithful. Whether you were a traitor or a faithful. And every time they all thought it was Phaedra, but they ended up voting somebody else, and they got in that circle and said, blah, 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 but I'm a faithful. And everybody was like, it was like, what? Yeah. And so it got to the point where they had voted so many other people off, even though they thought it was Phaedra, that they had to finally go, fuck it, it's Phaedra. All right, cool. So what blew my mind about the season finale on this and who won is that if you've ever watched Shaws of Sunset, oh my god, why can't I think of her name right now? I can't think of her name. It's gonna drive me crazy. But they had one of the ladies from Shaws of Sunset on there, and I loved her on this show because she was so ride or die. So ride or die.
I know which one you're talking about too.
And they
Trader season 3.
Huh?
Trader season 3, you said?
I ain't got no clue which season it was. But they got to where it was the last 3 faithfuls. And they were asked, do you want to vote again? Or do you want to just split the money where we're at? And 2 of the last 3 were gamers, and they knew each other. and they both voted to vote again. And she was like,
how dare you, right?
because she's thinking, wait, we won. What are you doing? What's going on? So they voted.
Sabotage.
They voted, and they had to vote twice because it didn't work out the first, whatever. And so she ended up getting voted off, and she's like, motherfuck, I don't understand. And so it ended up, with the two of them sharing the money or whatever. And yeah, so spoiler alert, whatever.
It's okay.
But I was so caught up in it that I like literally, it was on my sister's TV when I walked in her apartment. And she's like, oh, I can change to something else. I'm like, no, this looks interesting. Let's just watch this. Spent the whole weekend just watching that. Whole weekend just watching that. And I liked it so much that I was like, ooh, I gotta go watch some more. I gotta watch another season. Because it was interesting to have, and it's not the first time you've had reality show stars on a show together competing against each other. What was fascinating about this for me was the fact that they classified the types of reality show stars. And you literally saw the fact that the gamers understood strategy and the reality show stars they were just shady. They were just shady.
I liked it.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you
I think
this,
there's about 3 seasons.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to go look for them.
Mercedes Javed.
Yes. Thank you. I love her. So what I'm going to say this, even though the gamers did better, in my opinion, than the reality show stars, and even when you watch it, you will see the gamers, the faithfuls, because most of them were faithfuls, right? They seem to understand strategy and how to suss out a traitor. And the reality show stars, and most of them were from Bravo, which was the most hysterical thing, because there was even a moment where they talked about the fact that they've got to break up the Bravo clique, because all the Bravo people would vote to save each other. Like, whatever the Bravo people thought was a traitor, they would all kind of sort of vote together on who they, as a Bravo crew, thought was a traitor. And there were so many people from Bravo on, in this particular season, which I didn't even really realize there were so many of them until they made the comment about there being so many people from Bravo. So, oh wait, hold on. Before I turn over to Kari, the Caramel Goddess. Good evening, Queens. Anything on Big Brother? I don't actually watch Big Brother, but don't you, Des?
Yeah, I do, but I haven't been watching it yet. So hopefully I'll get a couple episodes in and get back to you guys about it and report about it next week.
Thank you, the Caramel Goddess, for throwing that out there. We will be sure to report back when we have something that we can talk about.
Right. It's definitely a great suggestion as well, because we asked at the beginning of the show if anybody had any suggestions, because we have run out of shit to watch. Anything that, it's not that we've run out of things to watch. I don't like the algorithm of my streaming my streaming sites, because I feel like they just recommend the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
And I like logging into my mom sometimes, just because hers are so much different than mine.
Okay, so wait, hold on. Let me just jump on that for a second, because I've got 2 Fire TVs in my house. And so each is, programmed a little different based on the viewing. Well, my daughter watches the one in my family room. So when I turn on that TV, I'm like, what the hell is all of this? I don't recognize any of this. Let me see what this is. So I love that you say that, because it's true. Whatever you're watching is what they're showing you versus what somebody else is watching. I love that.
I think there should be a shuffle option. And if you don't like their recommendations, you could click shuffle. So you could save what they have recommended, just in case you shuffle and don't like what you see. You could go back to the original suggestions. But a shuffle, like, my mom does watch like a lot of religious Christian stuff that I'm like, not really, Mom. I'm not trying to watch movies about Bible stories, but she has some stuff on there like SEAL Team, I think is what I found on hers. And another one, which SEAL Team has David Voorhees, which is from Bones. And
Yes.
what was that show? The vampire one, the spinoff of Buffy.
Yep, that one too.
What Angel. Yes. Woo! He's so fun. Anyway. So
you see how I knew who he was when you said his name, right? Like you didn't even have to go to Bones. I already knew.
Woo, he's so cute. Anyways. So I found SEAL Team on hers, and then there was another one that I found that I can't think of. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like having a whole new Netflix.
Yes.
And it's just because my mom, like, my living room TV is like the TV that when people come to visit, I let them log into that on, like they can log into whatever they want. Because I don't really watch a lot of TV in my living room. But my bedroom TV, that's where all like my stuff is. Right, so it's all of the things that I watch. Right. And so like I came down here, I don't remember what I was down here for, but I was down here and I just was like, let me just turn on the TV, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going through it and I'm just like, oh my gosh, a whole new world, all this new stuff. So maybe I just need to come down here and find some new stuff to watch again. Because I did rewatch. So we talked about at the beginning of the episode where we've rewatched some things. I did rewatch Lioness with Zoe Saldana. Yep. Because the new season's coming out next month.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
I didn't finish the first season. You have now motivated me to finish that season. Okay.
It's good. It's good. But another thing that I watched, which was also a Russell Crowe movie and also a military movie, ironically, it's called Land of Bad. And it's basically about this extraction team, this like off the books, like they're military, but they're kind of like that, you know, they take their identification off of them so that if for any reason they're caught or something happens to them, that it's off the record. So anyways, they go into this foreign country and they're going to recover an asset. So one of their soldiers, one of their CIA people or whatever had been kidnapped and was being held captive and tortured and yada, yada, yada. So this extraction team goes in and Russell Crowe is the sergeant or whatever his title is. He's in Las Vegas, Fallon, I think it was Fallon Air Force Base. And he is adamant, like he's the person in the, not really call center, but like he's at the helm with, you know, like the drones are showing what's going on. And he's the one that's like, do this, do that. So he's basically like in the director's chair and he's giving them all of the like, and when they say we need an airplane to come and drop some bombs on XYZ coordinates or whatever, Russell Crowe is the one that's like, okay, you know, him, and he has this other woman who is also watching, and they're like, okay, you know, you're 50 clicks from this. You're, you know, here's your landing station or whatever. You need to walk 50 clicks or whatever. And, you know, he's the one that's like, okay, we can go ahead and bomb this area and yada, yada, yada. So he's at the helm and they are catching hell. They are running into all kinds of problems. It's, you know, complete chaos. And the thing that's like most notable is that there's this like rookie guy who joins them on this mission, but he's like the tech guy. So he's not really a field soldier. He's more of like, you know, kind of like what Russell Crowe does is like he watches the cameras, he operates the drones, he programs the computers and makes sure that the comms are working. But he gets separated from the main group and ends up having to learn how to survive and gets captured. And so, yeah, so they're the extraction team. One of the, you know, they're experiencing being captured as the extraction team. So it's interesting because, you know, then there comes a time where the higher up of Russell comes in and says, we're taking over. Like, you've been here for, you can only do this for 8 hours or 10 hours or 12, whatever the maximum amount of time is. And he's like, you've exceeded that. Get out the chair. We're going to take over from here. And like, he's obviously invested because this is his team. And, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I've been here for so many hours, but I don't want anybody else to come in when I know what's going on. And I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I have a rapport with these guys. And now, like, we're talking about people that have now been captured, and the extraction team is trying to extract the extraction team. Like, this has gotten, this is like really bad. This is like
deep.
code red. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, his wife is, pregnant, 9 months pregnant. And he's like, yo, if she called, let me know. And, that means she's in labor, blah, blah, blah. So he's at the grocery store. Long story short, he's at the grocery store. He's been relieved of his duties. Somebody else takes over. And the fucking guy that gets captured, the tech guy, remembered the number to the duty phone. So there's like, when you have like a squadron, there's a duty phone, and it goes to like a rec room usually. So the guys are in there watching some sports or whatever. So they're like not paying attention to the duty phone because they're like, we're just involved in this sports game or whatever. Right. So this guy is calling from wherever he is in the world, trying to get someone to be like, yo, we're still alive. There's some of us, like, I'm still alive. Right. And they're like picking up the phone and hanging it up. They're not even like, or they
don't want to be bothered right now.
Right. So somehow he calls the cell phone of the commander. And the commander's literally in the grocery store and is like, leaves his groceries behind and hauls ass because he's like, they had already given the bomb. They're like, if you don't hear from us within this amount of time or whatever, they had that bomb thing. So Russell Crowe is like, see, I should have been there. Had I been there, he would have called me. I would have been able to whatever. So it was good. It was good because you have this like underdog learning to survive out in this captive situation, which I'd have been done. I'd have just been like, take me. It's over. But yeah, it was really good. Russell Crowe, he's on his shit. I don't know where he went and why he's back, but
he's back. Okay.
Two good movies. Really good movies. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
very good.
What did we learn from today's episode, everybody?
We learned that Paul watches a lot of other stuff. That's what we learned.
He is definitely right. He should
give us some recommendations.
Yeah. So let me go back to what Paul's recommendations were. These are Paul's recommendations on Shudder. They have Suitable Flesh with Heather Graham, Baghead, The Sadness, The Witch 1 and 2, When Evil Lurks, done by the director who did Terrified. Paul gave a whole lot of suggestions.
And Nefarious.
Love it.
And I mean, it's plenty.
And Iceberg List.
That's what I'm saying. I'm definitely going to go down the rabbit hole of the Iceberg List. I'm fascinated to see exactly what this is. And I'm fascinated.
I am as well.
So
and as much as wait. One last thing before we get into our normal
end of show routine.
Now it's time to say goodbye.
To all me.
Coming out next month is the Aaron Hernandez story on FX on Hulu.
Okay.
And it's going to be I think it's called Inside the Monster, but yeah, it's going to give the story of Aaron Hernandez, and it looks good. It looks juicy. Like even
Go ahead, finish your thought.
No, I was going to say, like, just in the trailer itself, it was like showing like guns and gang violence and drugs and all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't remember all of that. I just remember one day he was a football player and the next day he just went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So it'll be interesting.
I'm glad you said that though, because that's what I was going to talk about. Is I've watched a lot of documentaries about him, and it is utterly fascinating based on his background. It's fascinating. He made it to be a NFL player. Not just a
True.
player, but like apparently an exceptional player.
He was a superstar.
Exceptional.
He had a very promising career ahead of him.
Exceptional player. And to Kari's point, he had demons. Literal, actual demons that tagged along for the ride, and them demons just, they won.
The reason why I think that this movie is so critical, especially now, is that this is going to give us a good insight into a lot of people who gain notoriety, popularity, fame, fortune.
True.
And when you think about why do they still do the dumb shit, it's like, dude, you made it.
Yeah.
You made it.
But I think, to your point though, Kari, some of the dumb shit is because they were doing dumb shit beforehand, and they literally went from regular, ordinary, extraordinary to, you know, fame and fortune overnight. I mean, because when you think about it, a lot of these athletes are either from high school to the pros. A lot of baseball players go from high school to the pros, and really going to the pros is going to the minors and moving through the minors, whatever. But a lot of these football, basketball players, they're going to college, and they're big deal in college, but then they literally one day sign a contract that puts hundreds of thousands of dollars in their pocket all of a sudden. All of a sudden.
Millions.
You know, well, not all of them get millions out the gate. Some of them just get.
Some of them do. Some of them get $1 million, more money than they've ever seen in their whole life.
But even for the folks who don't get the $1 million contracts out the gate, the multi hundreds is still a lot of money for a lot of these guys, because they come from, in most cases, humble, I'm gonna say it, humble
backgrounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Humble beginnings, humble backgrounds. They've never had seen some of the things they've seen. They've never traveled the way they've traveled, eaten in the kind of places they eat, be able to buy and do things without thought of how were they going to pay for it. So when you talk about Aaron Hernandez, he's typical in the sense that he went from being super, super ordinary to immediately extraordinary. Never really had someone mentor him or mentor them into that level of greatness. So I'm quite fascinated by his story, and I'm looking forward to that. The other thing coming out this month, and I know we are at 10 o'clock, but the other thing coming out this month is the next iteration of Alien.
Yes. I seen that too. I was so hyped. I was like, yes.
Yeah. And my fellow co-host, I have every intention on seeing it. So in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna be talking about that. I'm just saying. But
I'm going to go see Beetlejuice.
This is August. That's next month, right?
Next month.
Okay. All right. Well,
and everybody go and see Borderlands. It's already out now in theaters, but if you have a chance, go out and see it.
Borderlands. Really okay, good. There you go. Those are our movie recommendations. But here we go.
I always wait till the crowd is done.
I know the background noise. And I've turned it down, and it's still crazy.
Okay, guys, you can go to EXXXOTICAtv.com to get your tickets to the next show, which is the biggest in America, October 25th to the 27th in Edison, New Jersey. You can also get your tickets to Washington, D.C., My Backyard, December 6th to the 8th. Ladies Free Friday. Get your tickets reserved. Go to the website, go to Ladies Free Friday, and reserve your tickets for either the New Jersey or the D.C. show. Follow Exotica Expo on all social media. And, of course, follow us right here on YouTube. But, wait, there's more. Smoke weed every day. The 420 Expo is September 13th to the 15th, 2024 in good old Edison, New Jersey. Make sure you follow us on social media at the 420 Expos. And you can reserve your tickets, find out who's going to be appearing, get your information on becoming an exhibitor, or I don't know, they're putting up the food trucks already, which I'm super excited about. Go to 420expo.com to find out more information about our up and coming show next month, 1 month away. And we'll see you there.
And
Last, but certainly not least,
them pink boxes.
fondle our pink boxes. Where is it? There it is. Okay, right there. Our pink boxes. Make sure you follow us on social media. I am going to start putting out some polls, which we talked about this a long time ago, but I'm going to actually start doing it. But polls on worst movies, best movies, movies that have traumatized you as a kid. We're going to talk about it all. So make sure you're following us on social media, answer those questions, and keep it locked and loaded on Exotica YouTube or EXXXOTICA.tv, whether you're watching us on one of the many platforms. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and follow. We will see you guys same time, same bat channel next week. Back to you, Casey.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace.